Okay, there we go. It works now. Recording started and seems to be doing what it needs to do. So, it's been a minute, so let's go ahead and hit a little recap. We were at the heart of the Mausoleum of Silent Souls. You found the ritual chamber at its end. There was this big circle of multiple glyphs and pillars where the Radiant Eclipse were tearing open a portal. Um, Everything kind of uh, crackled with the stolen energy of many lost souls. And then every breath you were taking had some unnatural cold to the air. When you woke in that morning, there was this latent fog that had kind of changed the climate inside. It made everything extra cold. One other issue was as you were casting spells and things, you noticed that there was some issues with that. Some of them started to falter a little, or at least were difficult in locking in that final piece for them to have their intended effect. Um, then, of course, as you came into the ritual room, you fought through many of the cultists that were here, and all of the chaos that was ensuing and the use of magic that they were employing against you. And in an attempt to disrupt that portal, um, you were looking primarily to disrupt the anchor that fed the ritual. But as you were going through, Emmy in her invisible state was tinkering through and cutting those things off as you fought. But despite your best efforts, the portal um, opened. Opened in a way that it had reached all its critical mass where it would continue open and it could not be stopped. At least you didn't think. Not through easy means. The chamber roared, the glyphs had flared, and then even the weave itself kind of trembled. And everything seemed to kind of be threatened in the moment. And then Val, with the last of the cultists in front of him, looked at the portal, looked at the Lightweaver, and then leaped, grabbing him and pushing him towards the portal itself with a dagger to his chest. And so that's kind of right where things were leaving off. Was right as Val was pushing the Lightweaver through this portal. Okay, so Val, you drive your blade into the chest of this Lightweaver, and for one frozen heartbeat, you're locked together, flesh to flesh, shadow to shadow. The Lightweaver's mouth opens to scream, yet no sound escapes. Only light, searing and merciless, bursting from his body like 1,000 burning knives. And then the portal takes you both. That's where the world starts to unravel. Heat collapses into cold, sight fractures into shards of color and void. You are pulled, not falling, not flying, but torn, ripped, scattered. You feel your muscles shred into threads of shadow, your bone splinter into memory, and your heartbeat crushed into silence. There's no air, no breath, only absence. Your soul screams, stretched thin until even the scream dies. You're not falling through space, you're being unwoven from it. For a moment, an eternity really, you exist as nothing but raw will, a silhouette etched against the black storm of eternity. And then, silence. You are gone. Everyone else, as Val vanishes through the portal, dragging the Lightweaver into that void, a deafening crack splits the chamber like the sky tearing open. The ritual circle flares once, twice, then shatters. The glyphs along the floor ignite in succession, One by one, a chain of unstoppable light giving way to shadow. The portal, no longer anchored, begins to twist on itself, warping the air like heat above a funeral pyre. And then, a violent pull. The chamber becomes a vacuum. Arcs of corrupted energy spiral inward toward the heart of the dying gate. Magic vibrates through your bones. Dust and broken stone lift from the floor. Your weapons tremble. Your heartbeat stutters. A scream. Not one voice, but thousands rip through the air. It isn't pain, it's release. All around you, from the stones, from the walls, from the air itself, souls begin to rise. Pale forms drift upward in a spiral of silver and smoke. Some weep, some sing, some say nothing at all, but each one passes upward through the ceiling into the world beyond, freed at last from the unnatural grip of the portal's binding. The portal convulses a final time, then collapses inward with a thunderous implosion. Not an explosion, an unmaking. Sound dies, magic stills, and for a breathless moment there is only dust and silence. Then, a soft glow returns. Moonlight breaks through a crack above, casting a single beam across the crumbled ritual stones. The oppressive cold begins to fade, and you realize the anchor is truly gone. The gate is shut. The worst has passed. But Val? He's not here. Only a single raven feather falls to the ground where he once stood, and somewhere far from this place the shadow still watches.
I mentioned this last time. As soon as I saw he was starting to go through, I would have attempted to run in that direction. Uh, would have been stopped shortly thereafter with everything else that happened.
Kind of blink around and look.
Fancy walks over to the raven feather to examine it, kneels near it.
Alright, roll an investigation check.
Seems to be a chicken feather.
It looks like a feather from his mantle, the mantle of the Raven Queen that he wore.
So there were some intermittent kind of magical power interruptions. Does my connection to Mistra feel strong again?
And this is probably something that we can do as a group kind of challenge at this point. You know, there is a faint vibration in the air. And so anyone that has some kind of link to magic or whether it be divine or arcane, which I believe is literally everyone, can roll an arcana or religion check, depending on your preferred.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, I need.
We are not carrying anyone through this.
All right, 3 successes and 3 failures. just over the half. You are tied for half and got just over the half. So like you reach out to the weave to try to sense it. Before you're doing so, you had noticed that there was something inherently corrupting about the magic itself. Um, you feel the weave shudder, raw and unstable. Once frayed and strangled by the portal's corruption, it now trembles with painful stillness. The threads no longer scream in violation, but they ache, raw, cauterized, scarred. Echoes of the shadow weave still cling, wisps of invasive magic dissolving into nothing, like smoke driven off by the wind. The world itself seems to be trying to heal, though the wound will never fully close. This is not broken, but will never be whole again.
I walk up to where the portal was, and I just say, "Don't know what you did, but you did it, my friend." I was
Fancy picks
expecting.
up that Fancy picks up the feather from the ground, and with a little bit of sleight of hand and a cantrip of something, he to those watching, in sort of a in honor of Val, something like that. He holds the feather up in front of him, twists it around so that the feather disappears, and a flame, uh, just flame and a little bit of smoke puffs up as if Val is snuffed out. That's Fancy saying that Val has been snuffed out, but he secretly put the feather away for later.
As you all stand around in some sort of solace or shock, Val, you awaken on your knees on black glass that stretches into forever. Above you, no sky, only permanent twilight. Feathers of ash and silver drifting downward. They do not move in the wind, they fall with purpose. Ahead, a dais of bone and sorrow rises. At its center sits a throne carved from morning itself. Upon it, a figure of veils and fragments, faces flickering across her form like shattered memories. Eyes of starlit void rest on you without blinking. The Raven Queen herself. Her silence is heavier than any sound, and when she speaks, it's not heard, but imposed upon you. You walked into oblivion, without hesitation. Not for glory, not for vengeance, but to halt what should not be. That is sacrifice. That is purity. That is mine. Her hand rises, pale, long-fingered, trailing shadow like smoke across ice. You have served me faithfully, though not always knowingly. You followed the pool of shadow, not in devotion, because it is what you are. Forged by silence, molded by absence, and when tested, you chose the void to spare the world from it. Her gaze kind of pierces at you after a little bit of a pause. Now I offer you something beyond survival. Not life, but purpose. Ralidar stirs. The veil grows thin, the light is twisted, and the dead cry out. I need more than watchers and whisperers. I need a blade that walks, a champion who strikes not for kings, nor light nor dark, but for the balance. What I offer is not survival, but a mantle, heavy with purpose. Will you hear it, Val? Consider what it bears?
Just as in the future and the past, I'm only ever just a tool for your disposal, Mother.
The feathers about her stir like storm clouds. Then hear what must be done. None may wear my mantle without proving their soul. First, you endure some trials: memory, shadow, and silence, each stripping away the veil until one only truth remains. If you endure, you will kneel beneath me and swear oaths that bind tighter than any chain. Only through these will you be deemed worthy to rise as my champion. Succeed, and I will return you remade. My mark will be upon you. No shadow will hide from your sight. No soul will resist your call. But know this: these gifts are not yours, they are mine. I lend them only so long as you honor the oaths. Refuse, and you will remain what you are now: ashes of memory drifting nameless in my halls, a silence even I will not keep. So choose, Val: death or duty.
For me, there's been nothing but duty, Mother.
And in a moment, the world around you goes dark. As it stirs, you stand in a stone corridor from another life. The torchlight is low and yellow. The air smells of iron and wet wool. A man kneels before you, wrists bound, mouth bleeding. His eyes are wide with fear and recognition. You know him, not by name, but by the ache in your chest. A mentor, a rival, a betrayer, someone who mattered. Your blade is already in your hand. You don't remember lifting it, but you feel what you felt then: a hot, bitter mix of rage, shame, and pride. The man swallows. Please, don't. A whisper coils through the corridor like frost. Memory may fade, but guilt lingers. You must choose. The choice will mark you. Do you kill him and accept the part of yourself that once you chose cruelty for certainty and will again when balance demands it? Or do you spare him and rewrite the memory with resolve, proving you can break the cycle you were forged in? Or do you walk away from it all and deny the power of this moment, refusing to be defined by it, even if it means carrying unanswered weight?
But it was both. It, it wasn't just rage or some misplaced feeling of vengeance. He deserved to die. He was a Felroth.
Then what is your choice?
Val's gonna kneel down and use the blade to cut the bindings free.
Very well. As you have chosen, so too shall you be marked in service. The corridor fades. Alright, back to the party. I need you to all roll a perception check, and then go ahead.
I was gonna say, Dagon laughs, and it's sort of I'll roll one in a second. I guess it may feel like it's awkward, sort of breaking of the silence with everything that's going on. He just laughs, and he says, he told me he was on a task, and when his task is complete, he would be called home. And he kind of laughs a second longer. He's like, I didn't know he meant it so damned literally. Perception.
Everyone hears a loud crack, followed by a low rumble. So let's see some these perception checks. Looks like we're doing pretty good so far. Let's see. Emmy probably doesn't perceive enough to even roll. No, that's on par. Let's see, that's everyone. Okay. Those are pretty good. You notice a large crack form in the archway that leads down into the room with the bookshelves, the little library below. That crack was formed at the sound, and the low rumble has an eerie feeling as Earth begins to shift, as though the room to your south, that library, begins to cave in. Since we had good perception, I need a deck save from Amy, Armoros, and Weldon with advantage, as the ceiling begins to cave in from the room just near you and the archway overhead, and debris begins to fly. So that was Dex save with advantage. So that would be, I gotta roll Amy's and Weldon if you'll do yours. Don't think that is correct.
He attacks the gravity with fire.
What was that? How are you supposed to do my push and talk button?
Typical Weldon had flamethrower bound to his push to talk.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, what was that? I was clicking buttons, but I forgot what I was doing because I laughed so hard.
Dexterity save for Emmy.
Okay, thank you. Yes, yep. I lost what I was doing. Here we go.
And if
I was supposed to roll a deck save.
All right. Try again.
I tried.
Okay, let me go scroll back up to Oblivion. See what. I almost got 11. Okay, that is sufficient. All of you dive north and around the statues and pillars.
I'd kind of go over to see if anyone looks like they're going to fall and need assistance. I just said, we got to get out of here, team.
You got to get the hell out of here.
The room to the south collapses, spraying debris into the entrance of this room. Quick inspection reveals that this room is stable, but the way out is blocked. How will you proceed?
Going east.
It's the only other doorway, right? There's nothing.
With a fireball prepared. No, with a ready attack.
Guys, didn't we do what we came to do? And we have the teleporty scroll thingy?
I want to be sure. Dagan says, I want to be sure this place is cleared. If this,
I mean,
we'll use it as a last resort, but if there's
Also,
any
with
chance
with all the magic going wrong, I wouldn't want to use it here.
the place collapsing is good for us, because we need to destroy this place one way or the other. There can be no way that they can rebuild this. It's a proof of concept. They know it works now.
okay.
As you go to into the little stairs that lead to the room beyond, it looks like it was like a more of a memorial type room reserved for some very important folks. There were 2 sarcophagi in this room, but that look ancient, and then a bunch of scattered supplies that look new.
Like in this portal room or the next room?
Sorry, to the the room to the east that Dagan was said he was going into, that Fancy's over nearby.
Well, Fancy goes in to look through the supplies because we're going to need some more cheese and things.
Roll an investigation. Okay. I was just looking at the party sheet. There's still a couple things that are lingering here. I don't know who actually is supposed to have them in their inventory, but if we could look at that and kind of gobble them up to get the party sheet part empty, so that the people have the items.
I have the party sheet open.
It's at under the tools. That's in the far top right. There's like the cross sword for combat tracker, and the one right beside it is the party sheet, and then the inventory tab.
I think the special lantern. That's Weldon's, right?
Yes. Yep. That is Weldon's.
I forgot what special lantern was, but
I had.
I don't know. You built
You
it.
basically made
a torch.
a torch.
Fucking
Yeah, special.
maglite.
Yeah, maglite. Yeah, essentially, you tinkered you a maglite into existence.
I would add some of this stuff in the bag
Think,
of holding until.
Emmy has the shard, right? The radiant shard.
Yes, that is correct. I'll move that over.
Anybody need a potion?
What's the potion? Is this a healing potion or?
We don't
well,
know. I
maybe it's a no.
We
think
don't know.
Emmy also has that because she was going to identify it. It was on her
Okay.
list of, but she ran out of stuff to do it for today.
Oh, okay. So yeah, she can. And then you can do the quick distribute thing, or
Yeah, for the monies.
yeah.
Wait, we found that.
This is what you find scattered amongst the supplies. About 800 gold, a belt, a cloak, and 3 healing potions. We'll say all of which are ID'd. I don't think they were supposed to be, but it's okay.
This would not be the place to right now to talk about distributing loot, but
I think that Fancy takes the belt without asking.
I'm grabbing the stuff and putting it in the bag of holding. It's like, this looks
No,
good.
no,
Done.
no. Fancy takes the belt.
You're the one that investigated, Fancy, so
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they don't even know about the belt. What the heck?
I mean, Dagon's
I don't
watching you
remember
like
how
a
to give it
hawk,
to
I'm
myself.
sure, but yeah, you can. I mean, you could pocket it. It's
Yeah, that's what Fancy does. For investigation later.
It would be it definitely would have been in your
2 con would have been real good for me for saves and whatnot, but I wanted to look at it later. But if I don't know it exists and that's how we playing it, then that's how we playing it.
Did you try to hide pocket? Like, you can pocket it. There's nothing stopping you from doing that since you're the one that picked it up. But do you try to hide the fact that you pocket it, or are you just, oh, this looks neat, and then just pocket it?
Yeah, I think he just like, this looks neat, and puts it in his bag.
Okay.
Like, that kind of thing.
The whistle didn't go through at all, but
Oh yeah, he tried to whistle. Okay.
Discord was like, yeah, nope, not that noise.
And then Fancy says, "Hey guys, I think there's some potions in here."
Did you take the cloak too?
Of course, he takes the cloak too.
It is neat.
I mean, to be fair, it is a fancy cloak in the item description.
True.
I feel like Fancy would just put it on and pretend like he had it on the whole time.
That's what I'm trying to figure out if I can do.
Yeah,
Where is it?
for sure.
I walk in after he does that, and I'm like, "You're doing a wardrobe change now, of all times? Come on, Fancy."
He's got a cloak of displacement on. I need to keep that. Can I wear both cloaks?
All right. Room rummaged. Nothing else of value found. Where do you go from here?
I leave those potions for people to like divvy up. I tell them where they are, or maybe I bring them back and hand them to people. I don't know. Here, anyone need these?
I'll drink a potion.
Supposed to drink it? We've won.
Amy says she's got several. And I was just looking, she's got several potions. She doesn't need one.
I have one, but I could take one of them.
Grab and go.
Okay.
But the big picture question still remains. Now what?
We're going east.
Sorry.
Oh, it's a dead end.
Yep.
Is it a dead end? Oh, it is a dead end.
I think we have no way out. Well, I mean, Fancy can get somebody out.
Wait, this statue looks weird. You should go poke the statue. I don't know.
Statue?
Brad, did we open the sarcophagi to find these cool goods or no?
They were in the regular goods. The sarcophagi are closed and sealed.
I
I feel like we should open them.
Somebody needs to check for traps if you're going to do that first, for one. Besides desecrating the undead or the dead. Hopefully, they're not the undead. That's what
I'm sure they won't mind. I mean, they're dead.
They can very much mind.
What's the statue of? Remember there are vampires here.
I never saw any vampires.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't remember the vampires either.
That statue is an armor stand.
Oh, okay.
It's currently empty, but it is an armor.
Because it had a cloak on it.
It had a cloak. Yeah, it had a cloak on it. Was all.
And a belt. I feel like I want to look. I feel like I want to look at the armor stand and see if like there's dust on it in places and not dust in places. Like it did have something there.
All of the
evidence of that.
All of those supplies are recently moved in a line. They haven't been sitting for long enough for dust to be a thing on any of it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm lighting a fire.
Okay.
On a torch.
Mm-hmm. Your special
and
lamp,
I'm
your
putting
maglite?
the oil on it. No.
Real torch. Okay.
Like real fire.
Okay.
Making it a little smoky, with some oil. And I want to see if there's an air current looking for a secret entrance.
With your investigation. Okay, I know what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah.
The very similar to how you found the way down here in the first place. And there the smoke kind of rises to the top, and then holds there, and kind of billows a little. There doesn't seem to be drafts at all in this room. The closest thing to a draft is there's the tiny crack that lets just the sliver of moonlight come through from the ground above, in the main ritual room.
Hey, Drad, while they're messing around here,
walking around with fire. Yeah.
Fancy is trying to put on both the belt and the cape on top of everything else.
Yeah, You certainly can. If something requires attunement, you won't be able to.
It does, and I don't have any slots left, so it probably won't work. He's
You
just
can
putting it
wear
on.
it. Yeah. There's nothing preventing you from wearing it. You just can't attune to it and gain the benefit of its effect. You could, even if you had slots, you couldn't do that without a rest.
Out of character, you need to figure out what slot you're gonna drop.
But the cape doesn't need attunement. So once the mini fashions cape is on, does he know how to like suddenly make it do something? Yep. Oh, that's so cool. He makes it like fantastically bright yellow, like yellow like you would never see in this world.
Oh, I'm moving Val as if that was me. Sorry. And because you can't just like throw a big belt. I mean, it's a dwarven belt. That's like a fucking World of Warcraft belt. It's huge. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Where'd you get that?
What? This? Oh, this was made by my great. Hold on. This was made by my great grandpappy, who
Was named Buttercup.
No, it's wait. Are you talking about the belt or this cool cloak?
Oh, don't distract me. It's the belt. That cloak
Belt.
looks like you probably did have it.
Well, yeah. This was made by my great grandpappy, and I've had it in the bag for a while. But you know, my pants are getting a little loose. I haven't had enough cheese recently, so I thought I would, you know, try to detect if he's buying all this.
Look, you don't get to roll away my free will because there's no way I can fucking go against a plus 14.
Well, I will say, he saw you take it. Right?
But the lie is fantastic,
but
though.
You are very convincing. But he saw you take it. But he's like, wait a minute, did he? I'm pretty sure I saw him take it. So that's kind of like
fancy. Like everything you say seems to be true, but I do remember, and everything you say contradicts everything you say, so I know they all can't be true.
Look, I know you've been hit a little few too many times in this last battle and everything, and if you want to wear this belt sometimes, I will let you wear it. And then he winks at you.
I don't even know what's happening right now. It's a good looking belt. I don't know. You try it on for now.
You guys are sharing clothes now?
No. I'm just asking what the hell he's doing. Wardrobe changes in the middle of all this. The whole building's falling down. Head in the game.
Fancy changes the color of the cloak to like some really bright, like purplish pink.
Very stealthy. And if we're done with this room, I just kind of walk back out.
Wait, door closed on me. I can't get through.
Here. Well, I couldn't find a way out. We might have to use a scroll teleportation.
You think guys, do you think we should search those sarcophagi since there wasn't really any loot to speak of? I mean,
are you good at checking for traps? Our trap checker is probably on a beach right now. And
I checked for some traps before. I guess I could do it. I'll check for traps.
I'll let you check for traps.
Investigation.
I don't know how to check for traps.
Oh crap! I would say I'd give him guidance, but I don't have it. It's too late.
There are no traps.
Yep. Doesn't appear to be trapped.
Weldon, can you give me a hand with this? Weldon?
Make him lift with the legs.
Give him.
He's got that belt. Look at that belt. That's like a weightlifter. He's got so much back support now. He can do it. Just let him do it, Weldon.
Yeah, okay, he hands me a crowbar. I try to use the crowbar to open up this sarcophagus.
You
This seems like a
break the seal
idea.
on the lid, it seems as though it had been sealed for a very long time. As you break that seal and the stone sarcophagus lifts, there's even like a little almost sucking of air, like there's like a little bit of vacuum inside. Not crazy, but just enough for air to move. Moving the top of the sarcophagus over, you see a mummified dead corpse from long ago, and it was holding a weapon across its chest with one hand, with the sword hilt, and then the blade going down his body, of which has basically deteriorated to near dust with age.
The weapon itself.
Both things, the body and the weapon.
Okay.
Thus,
I think this one's a dud, guys. Nothing in here. Tries to open this one. Wait, I have to check it for traps.
Yeah, you're a trap checker now.
it also does not appear to be trapped.
Okay, try to open it with the crowbar.
When he first starts to lift it, I do thaumaturgy and make him hear a sound of like a.
Yeah.
Upon hearing that sound, he runs back over here.
What are you going, Fancy?
You hear that? I think Fancy whips out his sword, changes his cloak to bright red.
As the mummified remains, and it's all very similarly held weapon, different type of sword. You can kind of see its outline, but with as exposed to the air, it also crumbles to dust.
Duds.
Fancy's shenanigans has sort of made Dagon a little bit lighter than he was a few seconds ago, but kind of gets a serious look again. Goes out here. Was Weldon looking down here for a way out?
Yeah, he's kind of scoped
all that
around
stuff's
all the
smashed
different, followed around all the walls and looked around with his little torch, trying to look for drafts of air. Even the archway to the south was so steep going down, when it collapsed, enough rubble and dust and dirt like basically packed it in where not even air was going out the archway to the south.
Don't think we left much unexplored.
All right.
I could get two of us out. The rest of you, I'm so sorry.
I mean, this is usually what Fancy would say, but scroll of teleportation now? Are we convinced?
Probably. I'd want to. I know you, Drad, in the initial narration that we kind of felt it, but I just want to do a double check. I would like to do my sense undead
Okay.
and just
Yeah, your
Get a-
divine
get a
your
vibe
divine
check.
sense.
yeah.
What's the range on that again? I think it's like 60 feet or.
I think so. $60
You get no pings of anything from your divine sense.
I just tell everyone I've got nothing. Like, I've done this a few times on the way here.
You're pretty sure that there are still some undeads in a coffin somewhere way to the south of you, but you can't sense them now. At least you had left some
Whatever.
undead in a coffin
Yeah.
a long time ago.
I went from being worried that didn't know how we were going to make sure everything was done here, but it looks like everything's sort of taking care of itself. Before we go, I looked at Emmy like, is there anything left that we need to salvage? I want to make sure they have nothing left they can use or reuse repurpose.
While y'all were clothes shopping in the other room, Emmy has been collecting all the little crystals from little shards of crystal from all over, as well as shards of the pillars that were the four around the portal. And so in her bag, she's just got bunches of these, all of the crystal shards that she could find. Yep, I got what I need. Loved looking at this stuff.
I'm glad you got some entertainment, something to tinker with,
Hmm?
as you were. All right, Amaros. Does anyone else have something they want to try to do? I guess this was a mission accomplished. I just look around everybody.
Fancy steps up to the middle and says, "Well, as the leader of this band, I feel it my duty to say that despite the sacrifice that Val has made for us all, we're going to have to leave him behind and forget about him forever. So gather around and get the scroll,
Who has the scroll?
guys. Armoros.
Okay,
I do.
Alros has it.
Yeah, I was just reading it actually. So it just creates a circle.
Yeah, basically a circle on the ground, because it's a scroll and not
and
the
then
full
anybody else
spell.
steps into it.
It's already kind of coded to do so, to make the circle, to do those. You don't have to draw, like, since it's a scroll and
I don't
not a
have to do
spell you're
anything.
casting, you don't have to draw the circle and doing all the stuff that you'd have to if you were full spell casting. It just takes time for it to lock into place, but it does it itself.
Alright, we're ready for this? And I just kinda look at Dagon.
Yeah. Let's don't have to forget anyone forever, but yeah, it's time to go.
So I'm gonna pull the scroll out and I just have to open it and it
Yeah, you
casts,
read
or...
it and like invoke through arcane or divine. It is kind of keyed for either. That's why you can use it, and so you just kind of read it and enact the spell just like you would any other kind of scroll or magical item. And
Okay.
it begins.
Alright, I assume you guys should go through first, because I think once I go through, it'll probably close. So,
No, I think we're supposed to hold hands. Fancy reaches out to try to make everybody hold hands.
I'll go first. Burp, burp.
So almost
I will go next to last. After everyone's gone, I'll go before Amaros.
Amaros, you recite the scroll, and the circle forms on the ground in front of you, and you each go in one by one. You kind of have to nudge Emmy behind along to go in, as she's kind of investigating her crystals, not really paying attention. But then, after she goes through, Armos, you're the last one in, and then like the whole world kind of warps around you for a moment. Everything goes dark, and then all of a sudden you just kind of blink into a rush of torchlight and voices. The Hall of Concordance in Kanos. The air tastes of ink, iron, and tension. Messengers run between pillars. Aides pass sheaves of dispatches. Someone is weeping quietly in a corner. Someone else is shouting about troop allocations. An officer, one of Ileana's aides, Sir Brannis, if you remember, spots you and moves fast. You're back! Thank the gods! Come, private chamber. Lady Ileana will join you as soon as she can. But without even waiting for a hello or any kind of introduction, he just kind of pushes a path through a crowd of people, ushering you into a secure antechamber with maps, tea that's gone cold, and a single raven feather on the table. He leaves, closing the door behind him, and you can hear him shouting for word to be sent to Lady Ileana. You are left alone in relative silence, with only the muffled sound of the nearby bustling remaining. I'm going to turn back over to Val. The void around you recoalesces. There's a pale fire rings around you in a circle that gives no warmth. Across from you stands yourself, taller by an inch, heavier by a sin. A chain of hard white light wrapped around his shoulders like a stolen halo. He smirks. You only ever did what I allowed. You're not noble, you're useful. Without me, you're a whisper pretending to be a blade. He draws your blade. No, his blade. And it hums with a note you've always heard and never admitted. You again hear the bodiless whisper. The greatest opponent can be oneself. Once again you must choose, and the choice will mark you. Do you fight and defeat him? Prove that the reflex to cut does not own you, you own it? Do you trick him into binding himself, use the chain of light against him, outthink the cruelty that once guided you? Do you accept him at cost? Let him strike, take the pain, draw the chain into yourself and make it yours, not as a leash, but as a tool you command.
Val's just going to address himself. There is no hubris in me. What blasphemous power do you think to wield here with the light? And he sort of scoffs at it. What power could the light possibly have in Latherna?
A grin, wicked smile spreads across his face as he lunges to attack. The voice again whispers, choose.
Val will just produce the psychic blades, one in each hand, and just jump into a fit of anger and aggression towards himself.
Roll an attack. You can just roll it into the chat. Do you make it with one of your thrown or stab?
No, this is definitely a stab.
Okay. Roll a damage with your sneak attack attached. So apply the sneak attack buff or whatever, and then roll a damage.
Apparently, don't have a target to do the sneak attack thing to.
It should be to your. Oh, I know why. Because I deleted your icon. I actually deleted you. So
Well, that settles that. Fancy was right.
It's canon.
Okay. Yeah, you got removed from the combat tracker. Try now. Try clicking it now. There we go. Yep. Roll for 30. Okay. What weak point would you aim for?
Probably underneath the shoulder, trying to slightly parry the attack that he's putting towards, and just kind of going around his arm and up underneath the shoulder.
You stab yourself. It's a strange statement, but right in the weak point you intend, and you can see a visual kind of jerk from the body of your opponent, as though his hand went and arm kind of tingled with numbness, and he drops his blade. He leaps back, drawing another weapon, prepared to attack. The whispered, disembodied voice again says, "Do you still choose to fight yourself?"
He's going to attempt to talk to himself and just kind of stand down a little bit. This is futile. Stop your aggressions.
Again, a grin, a devilish grin, appears upon his face. If only one's will were enough to prevent you from doing things that you should not. Roll a persuasion check. He leaps to stab you again.
He'll attack back.
Let's do it again. So roll an attack roll, and then what vital point would you attack this time? Disarmament or death?
Disarmament.
Okay. Sneak attack and attack damage. Again, now in the other shoulder, you strike. You can see the immediate jolting of his body, and then his arm kind of shakes, and again he drops his other dagger. Both arms now hanging nearly useless at his sides.
Val's going to approach him, and the psychic energies of his blades kind of dissipate. He's going to walk forward and just attempt to grab him himself on the side of the head and lock eyes with him.
He's really incapable of resisting, and so you do so.
There is only duty and purpose, not some grandiose thing that this is. I am not that. I never will be.
The echo of yourself turns to smoke and falls. The fire, the ring of fire that surrounded you, is gone. The echo is gone, but not wasted. What remains is you, clarified by your response. And then after a moment, the void returns. And then you find yourself walking on a bridge of shattered glass, suspended in absolute blackness. There's no wind, no horizon, only the sound of your own breath and the echo of your footfalls. Then those two vanish. Even thought feels muffled. A low, rhythmic thrum pulses through the bridge beneath your feet, like a heartbeat slowed to the brink of stillness. As you walk, shapes flicker in the void around you. Cloaked figures, faces without mouths, eyes made of tears. They drift closer but never speak. One reaches toward you and crumbles into ash. At the far side of the bridge, a simple stone basin waits, filled with shifting, liquid shadow. Hovering above it, a featureless silver mask wrapped in raven feathers. Etched into the basin's rim is a single word: name. The mask whispers in the familiar voice. It is harder to look within than out. This is not a test of skill, but of truth. You must remove your mask, literal or not, and think of who you were before the shadow shaped you. Speak into the basin. Offer something true, a memory, a loss, a burden, spoken plainly and poured like ink into water.
My name, was known as Valdaniel Felroth, and I could have stopped it, but he was my brother. The severing didn't have to happen. But I have no room in my heart for regret anymore.
The mask shatters into feathers, and the path behind you fades. A voice, not hers and not the whisper, but perhaps your own. You are no longer just what you were, you are what you have survived. Walk forward. Once again, the room around you goes dark. Okay, back to the party.
I pasted a picture of the cloak when it's yellow in our playing D&D, and I'm adding the one when it's red. Here it is when it's red. But yeah, so I mean, we're in this room. Fancy changes his cloak to the yellow version and goes over to the. You said it's on a table. There's a feather on the middle of the
That's
table.
right.
Yeah, he goes over to examine the feather again.
I roll an investigation check.
All right.
This feather is shockingly similar to the one that you picked up in the room that you left.
Fancy checks his own items to make sure that he still has the feather.
You do not.
Fancy picks up the feather and looks around at the party while he's holding it out in front of him. And says, "This seems a little bit peculiar to the rest of you, right?" And then he tries to do sleight of hand and make it disappear and fire and hide it away on himself again. Not as convincing as last time.
You have the sense that several didn't notice you put it away, but there might be a perceptive one or two that was like, what was that? Maybe not saw exactly what you did, but caught sight that you did something.
Just as we're sitting, I'm assuming this office room area waiting, Dagan gets a little more solemn, more pensive.
After a moment, the door bursts open. Ileana steps in, composed, luminous, but thinner at the edges with too little sleep. She quickly takes scope of the party in front of her, stops after counting the number, and swallows a breath. You did it. Gods, you did it. Tell me everything.
Fancy begins to tell the story about how they were on a ship and there were strange ships coming, and it was only through the leadership of Fancy that they were able to avoid a pretty terrible situation. And then he starts rambling about a graveyard that's like a graveyard forever in all directions, but luckily he was able to direct the party through to get to the goal.
Not to cut you off, I would not have cut you off during that. Emmy did make some notes and sketches in my book, and I would have showed her what Emmy has done.
The and like Emmy is like, what? And kind of picks up at that. I was like, was still kind of lost in thought, probably thinking about those crystals. And yeah, you're talking about the ones, the different set of crystals, the ones that she had done with the ships.
Yeah.
And then you could see her take a moment, and then she actually pulls out like a little thing out of her pocket, which looks like to be like a little field notes kind of thing, and she makes a little note here or there, but not interrupting you, letting you continue just diligently listening and making note of a few of the details of your trip there, your arrival at the city, the port city in Erden, and then the weird vibes with the Vistani, the fortune tellers, and the weird flash mob dancing, and the tarot card reading, and the weird the Vryloka, the vampire aristocrat folks, the one that you met that was there to help, and then your trip through Erden by carriage, and all the weird things you saw, the big graveyard, the mausoleum.
Would have been in my last notes, but the innkeeper, I've got was a her. I don't remember. I've got that person's name
Mhm.
in my last notes. I mentioned we met a friend of yours, I think.
I have I've forgotten her name as well. I'll have to look, but yes.
We had to get it from the guards, so the escort.
Yep. Yeah, she
I
didn't give
remember
it.
that.
It was someone else. Yeah. The is there anything about that trip? Like, can I give some of the highlights? But is there anything you want specifically for her to know, for like a detail or things across what you've seen, so that she can use
The
that?
the the dead spirits. They were used as a battery. They were trapped. There was the portal, hoping to maybe is Nalar here?
She kind of nods as you're giving the details and kind of taking note. And mentioning Alar, she kind of looks up. He's still away. Like, she's got a little bit of a worried look on her face. Um, and by away, I don't think he's here. He might be, I don't know, somewhere that's not here. Not even Ralidar here. I can't tell. I don't know.
So I continue on about the things that he would need to know about. They intend to undo our weave with their own. We felt. I felt the loss of Mistra. I felt disconnected for brief moments. What they were doing was working. And the portal that I thought was a portal, I thought it led to their home. I thought that Bao went through and stopped it somehow. But I don't think that's the type of power we were dealing with. I think it was just pure shadow, what they were powering up to rip apart our world.
You can see like a concerned look. Brows are kind of lowered in together, and like the little bit of worry, coming through. Oh, that is definitely not my area. Um, but Nalar should be back, hopefully. Like she says like a little apprehensively, as though there's so much unknown. But he should be back soon. This sounds like a thing he needs to know. What else have you uncovered?
Looking towards the group here. What am I leaving out? I feel like they mentioned the tainted owls at some point. They didn't. They don't. They don't really fear death at all. They seem to welcome it as part of their rebirth, I guess. You cannot burn everything.
Is that one of your hotkeys at the bottom or something that's getting like million pushed or something? I don't know what's happening, but that is.
It's when my keyboard is like in its rest state, and then when I activate it, it turns on, and then when I it's trying to decide what button's supposed to exist while I'm holding it down.
Oh, man, that's fun. Okay.
Yep. Spacebar first, then push to talk when playing Fantasy Grounds. Got it. Clear.
Okay, that's
No, the
setting Kanos on fire
remember the
right
bad
now.
guys. I don't remember the bad guys going on an exposition. They didn't tell us their master plan before we killed them.
No,
But,
the last
we-
big bad guy did, but you're right. This one
Yeah.
kind of didn't. I mean, he had his own monologue, right? Like, the
Those guys love to
yeah,
talk.
yeah. I mean, they sure
Bad
did.
guys. Yeah.
They're preachers for sure. And he was definitely, preaching the light and the shadow and all of that kind of thing, but he didn't really give away like the plan, like the normal Bond villain that you've encountered so far.
So explaining this, Dagon just kind of realizing that Val probably isn't home. So I don't know how he stopped it, but it did stop. The undead, the spirits seem to have calmed. They seem to have been freed. The place is collapsing in on itself. Emmy got all of the crystals and important magic bits that we're able to get. Um, I don't know if this was just a test run. If it is, they know they can do it now. I don't know. We don't know a lot beyond that. We stopped this one instance.
We did get a
And
few
it
days ago some message from um, Duskport. Some of the leadership there had sent a magical message. They had mentioned you, like kind of talking to the group as a whole, and but they spoke in this weird, riddling kind of way, and it was all this omens, this and um, the the signs that, and this poetic other stuff. But when they did speak of you, it seemed to be of reverence. Uh, we had hoped it had been days since the last communique, but hopefully we were hoping for something, and then you arrived. So she kind of stands up and she's like, "So you spent some time in the dark, and you are still somewhat in the dark. While you were there, the world moved." And so she moves over to the table with the big map on it. And we'll switch back over to Val for a second. Val, when the void dwindles, you stand once more before the throne. Beneath it, a pool of stilled memory, liquid shadow that reflects not light but meaning. Servants of bone and mist gather in a hush. A blade wrapped in wraithen feathers is placed in your hands. It's not for killing. You recognize the ritual blade used for cutting yourself. Nothing is said. No movements are made. The Raven Queen just kind of stares at you from her throne.
He'll take the point inside of his palm and just draw it down the length of his arm.
The blood starts to pool and pour from the opened vein as you hold it over, as it begins to drip into this pool of liquid shadow before you. And then her voice, as she speaks, is now very soft, soft as winter's last breath. Kneel, Oathbound, and receive your burden. Repeat these oaths and be chained by them. She kind of pauses and leans up a little.
Val O'Neill.
These are not. Let me do these real quick so you can see them. When she speaks, having you speak in turn or to repeat after she does. I shall strike only to silence suffering, not to feed it.
Val's just going to repeat after her in steady monotone.
Okay. I shall guard the passage of souls, neither hoarding nor hastening their fate. Go ahead and read all of these here then. I shall put the balance before service to kings, gods, light or dark, and friend or foe. I shall carry your will where none dare walk, in silence, in shadow, in sacrifice. And that was her fourth oath. The fourth oath was her last oath. You just kind of keep the steady monotone repetition as you read each one. Do you balk at any of them that she asks?
Nope.
The pool erupts in pale flame, wreathing you but not burning. Your wound on your arm closes. Something in you aligns. You feel more yourself than you have ever been. She leans, and the touch of her hand on your cheek is the idea of cold. Go, blade of shadow, my champion, my silence. Let them know that death still listens. In a heartbeat, the world folds and you vanish. You find yourself at a shrine to the Raven Queen in an overgrown jungle. A quick glance to the sky confirms that you have returned to Ralidar. You feel a warmth in your hand. As you look down, you see a scroll in your hand that you don't remember being there. It glows with a faint light.
He'll kind of examine it and see if he can determine what kind of scroll it is.
It is the scroll from your pack that was only recently offered of teleportation back to Kanos.
He'll kind of rub a thumb over the seal of it, kind of put it in a cloak breast pocket, and look around, try to gather his surroundings, and see if he can figure out where exactly he is.
Alright, make a survival check. there are not many places on Ralidar where jungle persists. Not this anyway. There's dense forests, but not this kind of rainforesty jungle. And kind of looking around at the density of it, it seems uncivilized. Kind of moving in each direction. Like the shrine itself is just like a small statue of the Raven Queen, and it's overgrown and in disrepair, crumbling. It hasn't seen visitors in decades at least, if not centuries. The jungle doesn't look like it's seen civilization or traffic outside of small wildlife and the like in a long time. Your best guess is maybe the Isle of Ferox.
He'll spend probably a couple of hours just there at that shrine, tidying up, not necessarily like clearing the foliage and mass around it, but just making it a little bit more prominent. Maybe writing a few things that have fallen over the years, and then he'll trek out to try to find some form of pathways or walkways.
Okay. And while you right the wrongs of time at the shrine, I'm going to switch back over to the party. As Ileana moves over to the map, she draws a deep breath. Her voice is steady, but clipped, the weight of urgency pressing to some extent. While you were beneath Erden, the world did not stand still. Let me tell you what we face. First, you mentioned the Tainted Isles. Well, we have managed to go through and clear all of the spaces that we thought were potential portal sites, especially from the map that you gave me, except for the Tainted Isles. We haven't been able to get there. But after that cleansing, we now have reports of some new gates forming in Bralan. Here, let me show you. She points to these two to a full world map, and she shows you one spot on the northern country's barrier and on the southern coast. We have reports of some activity reminiscent of what you have seen in your last couple of adventures in these locations in Merlon. As well, also, something Tainted Isles related, is that there was mention of astral ships. You get this, like, space, like, out there with the stars and stuff? Ships, okay? Ships in space that were seen leaving the Tainted Isles, carrying raiding parties all the way down to Alundria. Those raiding parties, they struck coastal towns and now are setting up a base of operations. People and beings people have never seen before. We can't get anywhere to fix a lot of the stuff because Einar is everywhere. Their blockade around Tenaria has tightened. They're blocking shipments through Demir. As it turns out, they're not very happy with their rules if you dare lifestyle. They have blockades around the Isles of Atunia, which you went past on your way to Erden. No ships are making it through there. They also have blockades blocking all the routes near the Isle of Kavor on their east side, so no one can sail around in some way. As well, they've recently set up blockades around Brolin, just by Brolon. Both the inner waterways and the open ocean. So we can't break the blockades. Right now, a lot of military movement is impossible. Humanitarian aid is impossible. So even though it's not a thing we can fix just now, it definitely constrains what we can do. Another thing is this Ainarian message of, failed leadership of Ralidar is starting to gain some traction. I mean, who could really argue? Wizard lords clutching power, demons and devils ravaging the countryside, armies marched to ruin, nations bled, lots of squabbling about what must be done. The world remembers, and they listen when Einar says enough. Tear it all down and rebuild stronger. And they're showing that strength.
And where is Einar when the weave itself is being attacked? And where is Einar when Alundria is being attacked? What are they doing to practice what they preach? What are they doing to make Ralidar safe?
For the common populace, like, who knows, right? They don't know. They just know the message is there and it resonates with them enough that maybe there are truths that they're blind to. In fact, it wouldn't be uncommon for that to be the true in general. Kind of as a response, we've kind of put together a summit. Mistrala, Rakos, Kragos, Rodrin, Taft, Kanos, all of us trying to try to seek truth before Einar's truth is the only truth. We need to make sure that that summit goes well. As it won't just be words, there's definite danger. Subtlety and subterfuge will be rampant. On top of that, Einar's aggressive expansion, assault, and movements throughout the world presses hard. There has been some skirmishes breaking out in Kragos, open fighting with some of the Kragans. Tenaria obviously has tried to do something since the blockade on their homeland has cut off their main source of funds, which, as a mercantile nation, riled up their government. Even on some of their own continent have been small skirmishes. The Dwarven nations on the west, Kalandesh with the giants that roam the fields there, and even some of their human and financial supporters in Davin have had little pockets of resistance.
Has there been any success in any of these resistances?
Not much. Not much.
We've saw one of their ships. It's beyond anything that we have, that anyone has.
Yes. I mean, with all these skirmishes, there's need for humanitarian aid, for military aid, for leadership, strategy, plotting, planning, all of those sorts of things. And you're right. In open conflict, Einar's superiority is staggering. Ships that fly, weapons that burn with arcane power. Mistrala and Rakos have just also recently set up, them alongside the Artificers Guilds, a research enclave to study the crystals that power the machines that the Ainarians are using. We don't yet know where they're getting the crystals. We don't know how they're using them, what their sources are, for the power within the crystals? Is it magic? Is it um, is it something more divine in nature? Is it something that is technomancy oriented? Is it a combination of all of those that they have to use to tap into that? But what's very clear is without knowing what it is they're using, what its potential weaknesses are, or maybe how to use it for ourselves, we will always fight behind. She kind of turns to look at Emmy. So you've been pretty well engrossed in the studies of these things. You are the only person with any real first-hand experience and knowledge of what they're doing and any insight as to anything of how it's being used.
I look at Emmy and smile. You're the world's expert here, Emmy.
Huh?
I kind of nudge her to make sure she's
Huh?
paying
What?
attention.
No, expert on what?
Crystals.
Oh, these things are fascinating. And she's writing in her book and then looking at crystals, still not knowing what's kind of going on. Ileana just kind of chuckles a little. So, you know, with this level of expertise, maybe this is a thing that you could help this enclave, this research enclave? Maybe.
I kind of nudge her again.
Huh? Oh, I mean, to study the crystals? Yes. We have people that would like your help and would give you resources and maybe crystals for you to look at and tools of which you could use to research them. Would you be interested in that kind of endeavor? Well, yeah, I'm doing it right now. She just kind of shakes her head. So if Emmy helps with the research a little, maybe we can make some headway in that direction. There's not much we can do about the blockade. That leaves new shadow portals, these astral space ships, raids in Alundria, the diplomatic summit, and then all of these little conflicts and skirmishes, humanitarian and military aid to those fighting with Einar. This is the board. Every piece matters. We must choose carefully. Every day we delay, another fire burns. Every front we neglect, another ally falters. It's going to be up to you. Choose, and Kanos will commit with you.
I mean, do we have anybody traveling to Einar to like try to talk to the leaders?
That's what we hope this summit will help accomplish. We need to get our message out to those, but Einar is invited as well. Their diplomats should attend. There's been informal communication, but it's stifled and shut down. Their rage burns deep, perhaps not without reason, but it does have an effect.
And these space ships, the Ainur have they butted heads? Have they been steering clear of that, or?
Not that we've seen that they've butted any heads, but they seem to be able to go and come from around the Tainted Isles where we cannot. Maybe that's because they can fly. Maybe that's because Einar's letting them through. We don't know.
really hate to see if INR had anything to do with what's going on in the Tainted Isles. Anything else we've been dealing with. I feel like if the Radiant Eclipse had their way, some of those big ships may not even float without the magic they've got on them. So that power balance would change really quick.
So we have no way of getting to the Tainted Isles.
Could just hear me out here. Could make it to Berlin, see what's going on with the conflict there. Maybe crazy talk. Just maybe we steal a ship. I understand what's going on. I'm saying this more to Eliana than my friends right now. I understand what's going on and the importance, but for me, losing the weave, that's my mission. Preventing that from happening. Everything else is such a distraction. Would have all been dealt with if everything wasn't so divided. Now I look to my friends, but my friends do seem to find the wisdom in making good choices. So, what do you all think?
Fancy
It's your turn.
stands up, and his cloak instantly changes to this sort of pinkish. I'll paste a picture so you can see. And playing D&D, and it's got these anchors on the bottom there. You can see. He says, "I say we commandeer a ship."
So the blockades could theoretically go to Maora and sail around the north to get to the Tainted Isles. Like through the or basically around Ferox and then or through this strait.
Through the Dire Strait.
Through the Dire Strait, around Jormungandr, around Erden. And avoid the blockades. I mean, just theoretically.
We're looking at possible travel points. Probably be pretty simple for them to teleport us to Rodrin if we wanted to hit Berlin and go up through Alundria.
Or we sail to Davin and canoe up the river to the Tainted Isles that way. Done that once.
We're gonna be right on the borders of I know.
So I was gonna say the things you mentioned are the outward blockades that they know about, but there is, I mean, obviously the area right around Davin. That's their main harbors. Like, so they're not blockading it because that's theirs. That's their home base. If you will, even though it's not really a blockade, it's just a. just is.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking a small party might be able to sneak through. I mean, it's essentially the reverse of the path I took to escape the Tainted Isles.
I was gonna ask something, Car specifically. Remind me, is it true that the north of the mountain range of Kragos on that coast is an icy coast? Isn't most of that northern continent all northern part of the ocean ice, like the Arctic? Like that's like the Arctic.
Yeah, it's you wouldn't get a big ship through there, not necessarily. I guess
It
maybe.
is potentially navigable, but not with normal
And-
ships, not with big ships.
Yeah, people have sailed it with small ships, kind of two single little personal yacht type things. With
It's one of those where you just take a rowboat and pick it up, drag it across the ice, and get back in the water. Pick it up.
Yeah.
It's like when you're floating the river when it's too low. It's the
Ugh.
worst. It's the worst.
There's a cool little village bear folk up there too. Just saying.
I was just trying to give all the like. There's a lot of potential map knowledge that you might have that you all might have in making the decisions, making sure you knew it.
Yeah.
Well, okay. First things last. I mean, is Tainted Owls where we definitely want to go, or do we want to check out the Berlin Alundria thing? My thoughts, well, it's just mine, is Alundria, we would kind of get to see what these spaceship stuff are, and get more information about them. We'll get that in Tainted Owls too, but it's sort of like going to the mothership, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like we should go to where they're going so we see the edge of it. That seems safer.
Safer, yes, but the head of the snake seems to be at the Tainted Isles. If we cut off the head,
Also, going to be two people short. So, what do we know about Alundria? Lore check. I don't remember if that's something we've had filled out.
There is some stuff about that one. It is a lot more self-contained. Let me pull up the stiff.
I wonder why they're attacking that spot. Because it could be like where Erden was. They needed this spot for their plans, and maybe they need this spot more so. Tainted Owls is their base, but it doesn't have what they need to power their stuff.
I had a big brain fart. I had to be like, where is the stuff? It's all in all my documents. I was looking for it in the game, but it's not in here. It's in all my Word file, all my files.
World building, yeah. And I don't think there's a wrong answer between the two. It's just we will eventually hit the Tainted Owls no matter what. Just wonder if this sudden focus on Alundria, there may be something that's very important to them. But, I admit too, I want to go to Berlin.
You looking for Ron?
Yes, not drinking that shit again though. Anyway, I crossed a few references there. In my Nerdcation Happy Island campaign, Wolfen's character was named Ron, and he was from Berlin. Yeah, that one. And he burned everything down. Jesus. Oh, is Alundria where they had the Council of Spirits?
I've lost everything. Sorry, I'm finding it.
Well, you have a thing in the Discord
I do,
for
and I'm.
Alundria.
Yep. Yep.
The
Oh,
technical difficulties
Alundria.
sometimes.
Spirits. If this is the people who are governed by spirits, then their whole fucking country is going to be at risk. Because that's another battery that they're going to try to throw together.
It wasn't. Anyway, yes, the in the Ralidar world building channel. So basically, yes, they have two councils that work in tandem. One is literally a council of spirits of their ancestors, and the other is the council of the living, and then they work in tandem for their ruling governance. They definitely look highly on magically gifted folk. They're very, like in some ways, shamanistic in magical ability and their connections. Like they revere them is so that they can maintain the connection to the spirits. They also normally have one giant, like basically the country in a dome. Um, that magical barrier normally protects them. But obviously, something allowed them to pierce it. Um, yeah.
So what do y'all think? Out of character. That's easier.
Scroll teleportation.
Which place teleportation roulette? I mean, I know what I like. The Northeast continent, we're behind enemy lines at that point.
I want to go to Alundria or Berlon.
Yeah, because we could, if we went that way, we could. Bodrin's a lot of magic. I'm sure we can get teleported to there and maybe hike it through some of Berlin.
Yeah, just as a recap,
As long as we're not going to the Badlands, we're good.
diplomatic summit, Berlin for portals, Alundria for raids, or somewhere to one of the handful of places that you could go to aid the military side of things, the skirmishes.
Where is the diplomatic summit?
The diplomatic summit. Oh, she didn't say that, did she? Is going to be in Taft.
And when is it?
Soon, like imminent.
Perhaps we should
Go ahead.
Aid to ensure that the diplomatic summit happens.
Then after that, since we're already in Taft, we could maybe mosey on down to Berlin.
Sure.
Saying this
So
out of
you're
character. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So what you're saying is you think there's going to be impediments to diplomatic council.
I will. I want to say this kind of as the DM, but the choice is yours, and there is a pro for every choice to make, but there is a con for every choice you do not make.
Out of character, I'm going to say my end character guy is, all this other shit to him's kind of a annoyed distraction. The losing of the weave's bad shit. So he's definitely really focused on that. But y'all could make the argument about the location to Taft, and that would kind of get us closer to the portal thing in Berlin. Because out of character, I don't want to be so. My guy's turning very paladin. Shit's going down. He's got a mission. And out of character, it would be nice to do something else besides go into a Shider Kai hideout and kill everybody. That's fun, but a slight tempo pace would probably be good before we get back into that.
I'm fine also with going to Taft and helping with the diplomatic whatevers.
I feel like that would be my character's highest priority as a pacifist, to ensure that the diplomatic.
Sure, everyone else commits violence.
And also, Fancy thinks
No,
there'll be
the goal
there will
of
be
the
more
diplomatic
cheese there.
talks is to not commit violence. That's why you have diplomatic talks, to try and get to a common ground without a fight.
And maybe we're in Taft. Yeah, we're going to be down a gnome. Maybe we'll have to replace a gnome replacement program. So we're gonna need some
Rent the
help.
gnome.
I look at Emmy and she's not even listening to anything I'm saying.
Not a
I
clue.
look at Ileana.
Has no idea what's going on.
I look at Ileana and it's like, you will provide her with an assistant, right?
Mostly to make sure she eats, and
I literally was going to say that to remind her to eat. Yeah, she'll have like an assistant, so all her needs will be met. She can get very focused and sometimes not do the day-to-day things she needs to do, and she's still probably not listening to me at all.
Absolutely, she is. Emmy is not, but Ileana is, and she is very reassuring in that the people that are putting this on the research enclave together would treat her in some ways like royalty, where she would be waited upon hand and foot and given tools and things of which she can conduct the research. Assistance both on the research side and just keeping everything else straight side, and life things if necessary.
I look at Emmy and expecting she's going to hear this part. You're going to get your own lab. Mm-hmm. You're going to get your own lab. I bet it's probably going to be one of the nicest labs in Ralidar.
All the tools to study these things.
It's pretty high priority. I think you're going to get everything you could ever dream of.
Well, that could be fun. And then she just kind of drifts back into her book, or her notes.
I smile at her.
I think Taft give us the most overall benefit if we're able to unite everyone in a cause, then every country would benefit simultaneously.
I suppose Weldon was right about the greater good.
That is definitely a pro. That's the hope and objective of said summit. At the very least, to stymie other losing potential allies. Even if we don't make peace with Einar, perhaps we can prevent them from convincing others to put them on an even higher pedestal.
Afterwards, though, we, I believe, tend to hit straight to Alondria or Berlan to continue the thread we've been on.
It would be the hope that things in either place had not ravaged to a point beyond our control by that point in time, but...
Do you have anyone you could send ahead of us to the spot on Berlan?
Well, right now,
going
we are missing a couple of very important figures. Izzy and Arden are off doing whatever demigods do. Nalar is off-world. My youngest seems to be missing, doing something. I don't really worry for her, but at the same time, I don't know where she is. She is not responding to communication. We have
maybe we could
the military, but I don't know that we can send the military to aid either of those places. If we mobilize troops beyond regular defensive structure and posturing, what level that might be seen as aggressive or the like, something that we have to be extremely cautious of. As much as I would like to go in with strong intent to bring some of that about, the risk is dire. We have not even come close in any of the skirmishes to date to achieving any sort of success. There's been nothing close to success. So if we were to provoke any aggression, we would be not only at risk there, but of opening a floodgate that means that we could no longer help shape the future.
Do you have any diplomatic channels to Alondria? At least warn them that there's a threat to every spirit they have there.
We definitely can communicate, but they are on the back foot. So the warning is as though it is not as though that they are unresponsive to the threat. They're being crumpled by the threat. Now, I have a couple of old friends that might be available to go help, but I would have to convince them, which I'm going to try. But if you go to the summit, the positives of that are huge. But what happens in the meantime elsewhere, that's the world we're faced with at the moment. That's direness of the choice. I have a mind to go myself, but they won't let me.
Out of character. How do I put that? Anyone who has an affinity to Mistra, be nice to have someone to go there, to at least scout the place out.
I don't think I
Everywhere
have
we,
any.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Everywhere we've been, we've gone with very little intel, very kind of going in blind and just improving. It's mostly worked out. It's quite a horrible feeling, losing that connection.
I'll let y'all ponder on it if you want to think on some things before we come up with what we declare as our final choice.
I mean, out of character, I think that it's not clear like what all the places that are being attacked. That seems pretty dire, uh, and that like something's going to happen quickly. Whereas the more portals opening up, that's not as clear because we had more portals opening up in other places. If I'm getting that correctly. Um, but it seems to me that getting everybody on board is going to have a bigger effect, or stopping other people from like abandoning the cause. I don't know. It could be, you know, 6 of these and half a dozen of the other. You know, like we might go to the summit and prevent somebody from like changing sides, and at the same time, the people that are getting attacked may change sides or something like that. So, I don't know. I feel like the summit is where Fancy would want to go regardless, because it seems like there's going to be more cheese there.
Yeah, as long as we're doing the protecting and not, engaging in active diplomacy. Uh, and it is, as far as for Dagon, it's a little bit of a concession to do that. But again, you all make a good case. And
I will say that it is a Sophie's choice, right? There, it is a.
oh,
Uh,
yeah, and I want to say this
So
too to everyone. This isn't. I mean, this is Drad's D&D, and especially his campaign. It's not a, oh, there's definitely a right choice here. He's just giving us the choice, and the world's gonna move in the way it moves, and we can affect one thing and then deal with the others. So it's
Yeah,
just what we want to do and our characters want to do.
yeah,
And
and so I'm not going to agonize over the choice. I feel like we would do what Fancy wants us to do.
but I'm okay with what we've decided so far.
Okay.
Wolfen, you were saying something?
nope.
I thought you were. Before you fireball us all again.
Mm-hmm.
probably. Okay, so Val, you've been working on this shrine, and then you've kind of gone on walkabout to try to make headway towards something. What direction do you make headway towards? Major, one of the, I'd say one of the maybe 8 kind of cardinalish directions, or one of the 4, however you want to think of it.
South.
As you travel south for a good while, you said you would travel a couple of hours, trying to see if you can make heads or tails of anything going on.
Yeah, the 2 hours was just how much time he spent setting the shrine back up and making it presentable. That he just went off in a southerly direction, trying to investigate and find any, um, identifications of civilization or pathways, anything that would stick out to him.
This feels more like a Dr. Livingston, I presume, kind of situation where
Yeah,
you're hacking your way through like dense jungle and vines and trying to go through, and you are
and not making very quick progress because he's just got like daggers and no machetes.
it is slow going and cumbersome, hot and nasty, and you make progress, and you're lithe enough that where most people might want to hack through, you can kind of maneuver instead of hack your way through a good bit. But the landscape doesn't change too much for a while. Just over the top of the trees, after a couple of hours of traveling south, you can just see the tips of perhaps a mountain range over the tree line, um, further to your south. But no sign of anything close to civilization. You have the herd wild animals, exotic birds and frogs and insects and that sort of thing, making it a bit of a racket the entirety. You have also heard a couple of what sounds like very large beasts, far in the distance, because you can hear like the like splintering of trees or things as something huge moves through the jungle. But we're talking like nothing close, like nothing anywhere close to close.
Yeah, he'll just travel on towards the mountain range. Is it obvious from this, like that the range is going? It's like a Great Wall of China scenario, or is it just like a singular mountain where there might be some pathways on either side of it?
It does look like a full range. You could, especially as you continue, you can see the tops of the mountains, not just directly south in front of you, but if you look to the west or you look to the east, the mountain range extends pretty close to east to west. You actually had a map of Ralidar, didn't you? Didn't you have a? Do you have a map? I'm
Let me
trying to
see.
remember if somebody had somebody. I thought somebody had a map. Because didn't you take?
Somebody picked one up.
Weren't you the one that
For
actually
sure.
marked
Yeah, he got the initial
the
intel.
initial intel from the original cave? I'm pretty sure that you
Yeah.
have the one
Like
that
so.
had the blood. You the marked on it even with blood or whatever to where the different things were on the.
Yeah, I did have that, but I passed it on to high command there so that they could copy off on stuff, and it wasn't really clear whether I ever got it back or whether
Yeah, I think that they
stuff.
would have copied the intel and let you keep the like. I think they would have just copied. They didn't. I don't think they'd take it from you.
Fair enough.
And so, okay, so if you have that map, then if you have a feeling that you're on the Isle of Ferox, you think that you're either in the Savage Lands and on the southern side of it, so you can see the mountains to the south of you, not to the north, or you might be in Kurdum, um, with the mountain range to the south of you, traveling towards the north side of the Savage Lands.
Right. So in either case, he would probably attempt to travel south to the base of the mountain range and then follow it on out to the east.
Follow it to the east. Okay. All right. Well, do a little messaging about. Won't we take a couple minutes? We're probably pretty close to the end of this session. There's just a couple things I want to make sure we lock in before we go, but I'm gonna use the restroom real quick, so maybe we take a couple, just maybe like 5 minutes, not a long time.
Okay.
I believe
I think
so.
everybody's in agreement that we're going to Taft. Hearing no objections,
Yeah, I think that's where we were decided.
Yeah, he's just gonna fireball everything. This is where I imagine you turn off your mic and you go, "Wafan!" That's not Tim.
Hmm. Nope. Life will go on. He will make things. It doesn't matter where. Also, Taft has got a nice climate, so he's happy with that.
The mission with the sun. It's gonna be great.
Spurred by the potential of roughage to nibble
Mm-hmm.
on.
Mm-hmm. Weldon would only be concerned if we're going to Kragos or the Badlands.
Kind of debating those things around the table, looking at what the cons of those choices would be, just trying to get in, to be set in your decision. You are now decided. We're going to support the diplomatic summit in Taft. And Ileana is hard to say she agrees, as she knows too that this is a choice of amongst a bunch of not good choices. But being resolute with the group's decision, she is willing to move forward with in solidarity and say that yes, okay, then that's where your efforts shall be, and we will try to do some things in using every other resource we can outside of major military movements to maybe address some of the others, to stymie any of the negatives of not particularly choosing those choices, at least to the best that we can, knowing that it is likely that at least somewhere the House of Cards is falling apart in certain places, and we just can't stop it all. We can do what we can do, and so we must face the path in front of us, and we have chosen that path.
I was not born in Kanos, but it has became my home, and I really have fallen in love with their worldview, the work they do in the Badlands, making the world better, making the land better, making everywhere they go try to be better than it was before. So to spread that on to Taft and potentially the rest of the world in these times, perhaps is a very big play. So I will continue to support Kanos.
I need everyone in this room to roll a perception check.
Hey, there we go.
Fancy, you notice
as if they were listening in on us, or as if this decisive moment has made it so that there's no need for murmuring, or neither.
You would the lack of sound with that in and of itself wouldn't be enough to surmise why there's a lack of sound. But as you're thinking about it, now why did they stop? Are they listening in? Like maybe these are the thoughts going through your head now. Is someone spying on us, or did they hear what we've done and now they've all gone off to do their thing? Just as the door bursts open, and a single raven's feather comes through the room, landing near the table.
I immediately check my stash spot for feathers that I've been trying to store, and is it there?
It is not.
Fancy, is that you?
Oh, look, a feather.
I think Val is not dead. Something's going on here. I've tried to make this feather go away, but it's not going away. Fancy picks up the feather and looks into it intently. What are you trying to tell me? He talks to it.
As you talk to the feather, there's certain layers of grief, Fancy. I think denial is where you're at.
No, I'm telling you, I picked up the feather and then look, okay. I kept the feather before and I kept the other feather, and this feather is new. What's happening here?
I want to believe you, but everything you says sound convincing. So
A draft of cold air comes from the open door. At first, there's no one on the other side. There's no reason as to why the door opened. Shadow kind of detaches itself from the archway beyond, and even the braziers in the room that are providing light, and the fireplace on one side of the room, their light seems to recoil away from the doorway. A brief moment later, they all sort of right themselves, and Val steps through, changed but unmistakable.
I knew it. I knew you weren't dead, Val. Trust me. I mean, these others, the rest of these guys, they thought you were dead, but not me. I believed, Val.
Val, just without any emotion, takes a step forward and disappears and apparates right next to Fancy and plucks the feather from him.
Yeah, take that feather away from him.
Plumage of the Dark Lady symbolism. It's not for your parlor tricks.
Fancy doesn't know what to say. He looks around and shuffles his feet.
Ileana kind of rises, but she's been speechless, which for her is a sign unto itself. Sir Brannis, her aide, is kind of off to the side and makes some kind of old sign of protection, kind of like making the cross in the air. Then the silence breaks like thin ice, and then you hear the murmurings from the other room again.
Fancy gets out a quill and some parchment and says, "So Val, tell me everything. If this is going to make a good song, I need to know all the details."
You know he's not going to tell you anything.
I know it's like I can tell you.
I look at Val and I just say, sent on another task, I guess.
Glad to see you back.
This guy doesn't talk, does he? He never talks.
I wouldn't necessarily say it was another task. Perhaps the Dark Lady's will has not been done yet in Ralidar.
Fancy just outright says, "You're still on our side, right?" Val.
Would seem so.
I mean, you don't have a blade in your neck yet, so.
Fancy leans over to Armaros and says, "Is that really him?"
Just kind of roll my eyes and like, of course.
First, I thought you were sent home finally, but then that's not what happened. I don't think. I am glad you are back.
Oh yeah, no, so yeah, but thanks for imploding that catastrophe there.
Yeah, and Val, I mean, I'll have to add some details to the song, so I hope that you'll allow some artistic liberty.
The last time he took artistic liberty, he sung about Mistra and something about cherry pie, and I did not like it. Did not like it one bit.
Val just offers a blank stare.
I told Mac that I want to say more, but I kind of get back to mission. I kind of give him a real brief rundown of the map and what's been going on, and with the point A, point B plan, we have decided to go, and why. Still a lot of work in Ralidar.
Ileana kind of stands up a little more and starts to looks like she's starting to overcome her first bit of shock. She says, "You're not the first person I've known who has come back across a veil that is not to be crossed. I'm glad that you found your way to this home. Perhaps, with decisions made, you should get a bit of rest. You look ragged, warmed over dead."
We feel as bad as we look.
Yeah.
Fancy turns around and starts to scrawl some parts about some song that he's going to make up about Val. And as he does it, he changes the color of his cloak to this.
Oh Jesus! But yeah, that's when I think Val, that pops up perfectly. Fancy.
Get her done.
Be leaving tomorrow.
If not tomorrow, then the day after. But time would be tight. Yeah. Knowing which way to go, I think I'm going to go maybe make some of those communiques I talked about and see if we can't put out some other fires that will definitely be raging. Rest well.
I look to the group. I was like, just take the night off. Go wherever you will.
Night off. Oh, fire brandy.
But what are we going to do about dinner?
I was expecting that every
More
time we come
brandy.
back. To the group, I was expecting to like hear your stomach growl. I have we could there's Izzy's place if we wanted to meet back there. I wanted to, if we're gonna do a little wind down things. I wanted to go off on my own for just an hour or so.
Yep, and I think with Ileana departing and us moving off into revelry, that we can in the session there, and then we can pick up maybe with like what any planning or thoughts, maybe putting some thoughts towards if we're doing a diplomatic type mission and we're maybe trying to protect that and or be a part of the persuasive component of that that there's probably some subterfuge type things that might need to be thought about, prepared plans on y'all's behalf as we go forward. And so I'll stop it there, and we can pick up on our next session right kind of from here in a planning phase of how we even could possibly pull off the mission ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to be able to narrate a little bit of our off downtime as well.
Yep. I think that the starting of the next session can be some of that, as well as the planning and preparation that you might need to do in order to be successful.
We can talk a little bit through Discord about ideas on that too.
I will say that combat is a component of said mission. It is a nearly inevitable component of said mission, but this one does come with less straightforward. Here's an enemy that you need to kill. Go kill them. Combat.
Rolling.
Which might be different. Might require a little bit more on your part to divert on how it goes forward.
So not direct fighting. So like
If we only had Stina here to
rope,
question them.
Be James Bond the bunny.
What'd you just say, Fancy? Or
Oh, I was just saying, if only we had Thina here to question them with a single arrow.
Yeah, I was thinking more guard duty type stuff, but that the thing about what Dagan said about Kanos just kind of popped in my head, and so we might have some convincing arguments to make on some things.
There might be some spy, counter spy kind of things as well.
All I know is not paying attention to Val's story, so I don't know anything was the funnest thing I did not hear.
That's
because I wasn't there. No, we couldn't hear it because we weren't there, but it was fun to listen to.
Oh, okay. I thought.
Yeah, okay.
I misunderstood at first. I thought you were like, yeah, I literally turned off. No.